But what happens in the New Age and some of these hyper charismatic churches is that they put more emphasis on the imagery that God uses than on the message he's sending.
How do you think involvement in a religiously abusive group, whether a cult or otherwise, interplays with spiritual warfare?
I think that the problem is when we let go of the authority of Scripture and we rely totally on spiritual experiences, so that the experiences themselves carry equal weight with Scripture, and sometimes we proof text to make it more authentic. I think that is the way that cults and other practices within groups that become hyper charismatic control people. Spiritual experiences are mesmerizing. And when you see them, either as a Christian or as a non-Christian, they have a memory and a life all of their own. And so it can be so beautiful and so mesmerizing that we forget there's an evil one who can fool us, even though we're Christians. And that's what happens so often in cults and in hyper-charismatic churches, that the leader puts more emphasis upon spiritual experiences than the authority of Scripture. Now, I could give you some examples of that, but let me first speak of Scripture. When Peter in Acts 10 was going out and evangelizing and proclaiming the word, at one point he received a dream that the sheet was coming down, you know where I'm talking about, and all these reptiles and fish were in it. And then a voice said, "Peter, get up and eat." And he was horrified. And he had no idea what this meant, right? Mm-hmm. In the whole context of the gospel, what was God doing? But the point is this: there was nothing to figure out. 2 men came and got him. God had already sent an angel to Cornelius and giving him a message about Paul. The men took him to Cornelius. He entered the home of a Gentile where he wasn't supposed to be as a Jew. And all of a sudden, he got the message. The Gentiles were included in the gospel of Jesus Christ. So though the dream was important, of course, we weren't focusing on the images in the dream because God was giving a bigger message. And so Peter didn't have to figure it out. But what happens in the New Age and some of these hyper charismatic churches is that they put more emphasis on the imagery that God uses than on the message he's sending. And that the message he's sending, he will act out. There's nothing for us to figure out. But that's not taught in cults or in hyper charismatic churches.